Hi there, I'm Matteo, the Tech Travel Geeks Chief Mobile Opinionist, and today we're in Longhua, Shenzhen, China, at Doogee's headquarters on their lovely roof terrace. And what we're going to do is a quick unboxing of the Doogee S95 series smartphone and its modular accessories, the Doogee S68 smartphone series, and the Doogee N100 series. And something that they have in their R&D lab at the moment that's not a finished product, but is the sign of something that's going to be coming soon. So we'll leave that as a teaser. Right then, let's start with Doogee's new flagship, the S95 series. This is a rugged smartphone that comes along with all you'd come to expect from a Doogee's rugged smartphone and some modules. Packaging is nice and simple, with a black box made out of cardboard and some nice embossed casing on it. And inside the retail packaging, if you buy the bundled kit, you'll have a box at the top with the smartphone itself and some modules on the inside. So what we're going to do is look at the S95 first and the two modules that are coming at release with the smartphone. So the S95 series is obviously a smaller box, same design, same embossing, label on the side telling you that this is 8 GB of RAM and 120 GB of storage built in. This is also expandable with microSD. And here you have the simple packaging with the smartphone itself, showing off the smartphone, the charger, and the mic and the USB Type-C cable, which connects to USB Type-A. Let's have a quick look at the charger. It's a standard European one in this case, which is 12 volts, 2 amps. It's Qualcomm Fast Charge 3. That means that it's a 24 watt charger. So we should charge the large battery relatively quickly. Now let's have a look at the device itself. You can see the rugged smartphone is there with the Doogee logo at the bottom, and there's a 16 pogo pin connector at the bottom and a nice triple camera with flash in a square module in the center of the device. Now the front of the device is smaller than some of the other Doogee devices we've seen before. It feels a bit more accessible. That's because they've been moving some stuff around. Now what have they moved around? They've put the fingerprint scanner on the side. It's a capacitive fingerprint scanner. The power button, the volume button, and the SIM tray and memory card slot are up here. On the other side you have the push to talk button, or the mappable button, so you can map this for use with accessories or particular software functions if you wish to. Right then, let's have a look at it. At the bottom there's a watertight IPX rated port there. And the reason for that is very simple. You use that to charge your phone and then cover it up to avoid any ingress of water. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, this has wireless charging.
Yes.
Which means you don't need to really open that. You shouldn't need to do that. If you've got a wireless charging stand, you can leave this overnight charging and that will be it. Now the software on the inside, this is running Android 9 Pie, that's Android 9 operating system. It's a very light touch one. There's not a lot of customizations, but there are some dedicated apps that will facilitate your mapping of the button and some of the hardware features and the connectivity with the accessories. So apart from that, you get a SIM ejector tool in the pack, and very thoughtfully an extra screen protector in the box. Now this is definitely something that users of rugged smartphones will appreciate, because though it does come with a screen protector already applied, you'll want to have an extra one because you'll be treating this with less than feathery hands. Now the screen in this case is an LCD screen. It has a small water drop notch for the selfie camera at the top. And the build is overall solid. It's got a good build to it. It feels hefty, but it's not unwielding. It's not something that you are too bothered by. so it can easily use this one-handed because it's a slightly smaller screen. And I know it's difficult to say in this sunlight here in sunny Shenzhen, but it is a nice readable screen even in sunlight. So let's have a look at the accessories that come with the Doogee S95. So as I said, if you get the bundle, there's two main modular accessories that you can add to it. One is the Doogee speakers. So this is very good quality speakers that we won't demo here because of the sound around us, but it simply clips on over your smartphone, and it has a stand as well. So you can put your smartphone down and play some music. I think this is a great idea for an accessory. So modules and smartphone aren't new, but Doogee are following through. Rather than take a separate device on holiday, why not just take your module and attach it when you need it? This is ideal, in my view, for things like holidays or trips where you're staying in a hotel and you just want to play some music or podcasts or audiobooks. So, nice little accessory. This has its own battery built in, which you can charge using a Type-C port. So you only take one charger on holiday with you. When you're not charging the phone, even if you're using wireless, you can charge the speaker. Now, the other cool accessory that we have, since we mentioned charging, is an additional 3,500 milliamp hour power bank, which, just like the speaker, plugs onto the back of the smartphone. Unlike the speaker, you get to carry on using your camera if needed, and as with the speaker, USB Type-C for charging. So overall, Doogee seemed to have solved some problems that people who have rugged smartphones really want. You've got a really good smartphone with extended battery if needed. If you're going hiking, if you're going somewhere where there's no regular power, you have an extra power bank. And on the other hand, if you just want some comfort by listening to music, podcasts and audiobooks, here is the modular speaker. This is powered by a MediaTek chipset, and as I said, it has 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage built in. This is overall a really compelling product, especially at the reasonable pricing you can get this device on. Pricing varies by market, but that's the Doogee S95 series and the S95 modular accessories. Right then, let's move on to the Doogee S68 series. Now this is 2 minutes. So this is, Lukash, our Chief Aperture Officer, tells me there's 2 minutes to go here. This is the Doogee S68. It's more of a mid-range device, and similar packaging with a fast charger, Type-C cable, and the smartphone itself. Now this feels very, very similar to the S95 series. This is IP68 rated, and it's got nice information leaflet on the top of it, and it does wireless charging as well. Is it okay to take off the thing here?
Yes, yeah. Auto support reverse wireless
and
charging.
this one also supports reverse wireless charging, which means that if your friend with a wireless iPhone has a flat battery, he or she can pop it on the back and charge their device on it. And as you can see, different design here, 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Another triple camera with flash on the back. This one has a fingerprint reader on the back, ergonomically where you would expect it to be on most modern smartphones. I quite like the colouring on this one, but one of the highlights for those of you who go hiking and without access to power might be the flash that seems to be there. Is that, oh no, sorry, that's just a sensor. The additional selfie camera with sensor at the side. So again, this is a slightly wider water drop notch. It's not a Google Pixel 3 bathtub notch. And again, power button and volume button at the side. There's no fingerprint reader on the side because it's at the back. So another decent rugged smartphone from Doogee. I like the little lanyard loop at the side there. This is a very affordable rugged smartphone that you can pick up from all of your usual online retailers. Now, moving on. Okay then, so last but not least in the smartphone category from Doogee, the N100. Now, N in China is a good letter. And the N100 is a smartphone from Doogee with a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. This is surprisingly light. I have 10,000 milliamp hour power banks that are heavier than this. This feels very light. And on the back, it's not a rugged finish, it's a faux leather. I thought Samsung had depleted the world's supplies of fake stitching back in the days of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, but I was mistaken because Doogee has found fake stitching lying around in a warehouse and has used it on the N100. That gives it a bit of texture, makes it easier and less slippery. And again, let's have a look at the screen on this one. This is Doogee N100. This does not have a notch, it's a notchless screen. It does have a bit of a bezel at the top and the bottom. As with the Doogee S95 Pro and the S68 Pro, this one is powered by Android 9. It has a MediaTek chipset, and that's some pretty decent sound coming out of the speakers at the bottom. Selfie cameras at the top here, but if we look at that, that's Type-C for charging, and as with most modern smartphones, there's no courage port, there's no 3.5mm audio jack. So that's the Doogee S95. It has expandable storage with microSD. So with a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, the sort of thing you will never run out of power on a trip, and be able to use it as a media player heavily to play back audio and videos. I think that's a really compelling product, especially for people traveling. So that's a quick overview of Doogee's latest smartphones here on the roof terrace in Shenzhen, China. Now this is something that's been given to us to play around with. You need to have a dedicated smartphone app on your to be able to use this. So it's Type-C connector at one end and a Type-C cable with a clip, and this is an extremely low light usage camera. It works in pitch black. This is a series of sensors for understanding how little light there is and how to switch mode. But essentially it goes from having a normal camera range in normal lighting conditions to having complete darkness. It goes down to black and white, but extremely low light sensitivity. So this is an accessory that will be provided by Doogee probably in the near future, that they're doing research and development on at the moment, but an extremely interesting product to be for a smartphone. As we saw with the Doogee S68 and S95 Pro, they're rugged devices which are likely to be very useful to people in the construction industry. In that context, or even hunters or people who go hiking overnight, in that context, this accessory makes complete sense because you'll be able to use your rugged smartphone in rugged conditions and maybe use this for investigating what's going on in cavity walls in somewhere you're working, or what's happening in the dark when you can't see with your normal eyes. So very interesting R&D product from Doogee. They're not focusing just on smartphones. As we see, they have some very interesting modules in the work, and this is a really interesting external accessory. Who knows, one day we might see it as a dedicated module, or maybe even built into the smartphone. Think how cool that would be. But for now, from the Tech Travel Geeks on the rooftop terrace of Doogee's HQ in Shenzhen, thanks for watching everyone, and if you don't already, please do subscribe to us here on YouTube. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.